Hey guys.
All right. Hello, everybody. We are live now. I'm going to check on the stream that everything works out. We are here to talk about Warhammer, Wrath and Glory. This is our session 0. And I got lots of things planned here. So before we go around the table, let me set the stage. Here's the premise. Let's play Wrath and Glory, which is this book, because I bought it. And I feel really bad for never playing it, but I did the whole like hook, line, sinker. Oh, that would be cool. And then it just collects dust in a shelf somewhere. The second part is, but what if we 4D role play with it? Well, it does have some meta currencies and dice shifting, and worst of all, a dice pool system. All of those things I haven't seen 4D yet. And I don't know if we should, but we will find out today. And yeah, I think there's a big first for Warhammer content in general, because the universe is pretty cool. The games are popping off like media everywhere. What really got me like dragged into this universe more was two things: the Astartes YouTube series and Hell's Reach animated. Man, those blew my mind. Go ahead, guys. You may talk.
Oh yeah, Astartes is unbelievably good. It really goes to show how good the setting can be if portrayed to the extent that it is described in the books.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hell's Reach is a classic, much older animation, but still, everyone just still talks about it to this day.
Oh, I haven't watched
that last year. Really good. Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, I don't really want to do like share your nerd cred kind of thing, because I feel that's the dangers with Warhammer. Well, first you have to prove that you are a true fan, you know, like there's no true Warhammer fan amongst us. But what's your experience of what's been your experience with Warhammer?
I'll start. I dabbled with the tabletop like many years ago in my teenage years. Then never really got into it that much from that, but always kind of stayed with the media. So played the video games and the video game of Dawn of War and that sort of stuff. And then I read some of the books here and there. So it's always sort of ongoing. Well, every now and again I'll dip into a couple of books or dip into some of the YouTube stuff. And so it's back in my head. I played the mobile app Tacticus for a while last year. That was my last sort of dip into it. So yeah, I've kind of always dipped in and out of it. It's always been interesting lore, but never been sort of super embedded in it. Never. I've done some wargaming, but more historical than sort of the sci-fi stuff. So yeah, that was my kind of experience with it.
Yeah, let's go around the table and continue with Roger.
Yeah, so my history with Warhammer kind of goes all the way back to the beginning, the first edition Rogue Trader handbook, which had like really bad binding in it. The glue failed, and so half the pages started to fall out. And it had a lot of weird stuff that kind of fell out of the system. So things like spore mines and void grenades and stunties and beaky space marines and all that old crud that nobody really remembers or plays with anymore. And I played it a few times, but then kind of real life got in the way for 30 years. And then eventually I kind of got back into it with some of the video games. There was that one that was a couple of years ago, and it was kind of the Rogue Trader in a system and stuff. And that was it was fun. It was interesting, but yeah, it still kind of felt very much like wargaming first and kind of role playing on the side if you get around to it, which is like a lot of computer games, and that's fine. So yeah, definitely interested to see what we can do with kind of the system and the lore. And it's, I guess one thing I'll say is about the lore and lore purists is that there's like a bazillion worlds and a bazillion Space Marine chapters out there, right? So kind of any weird, crazy crud you can think of, it's going to happen somewhere in that universe. It's like, oh yeah, there's that one weird planet where all the orcs and elves get along in harmony in a big commune. Like it's got to exist somewhere out there in the universe, right? So, yeah, I'm totally looking forward to what we can accomplish.
Hey, my experience with Warhammer is a little bit different. I think I'm the youngest guy here, so I have always been a very big like real-time strategy fan. So I played Dawn of War first. I found the setting completely strange and obtrusive. Like I couldn't really get into it. But later on, as Warhammer became like very common on the internet, I would just like every now and then see it, and then I got really curious. Like, oh, this is the setting from the game I played as a teenager, and I just became a wiki reader, and that's how I learned. This is the worst way to learn Warhammer lore, by the way. And this is a cool setting, I thought to myself. Later on, when I got into RPGs, I started playing a ton of different RPGs, but I got invited by one of my friends to a Dark Heresy game online, and that was really cool because that was like an actual way for you to grasp at the university I've been reading a lot about and enjoying memes about that kind of thing. So I actually played Dark Heresy. So remember my first Dark Heresy character was really cool, and I was playing a Imperial Guardsman. And after that game ended, I said that I wanted to continue playing that style of game. Thankfully, I would even say that us Warhammer nerds are a bit spoiled when it comes to good games. You have Dark Heresy, you have Only War, at least in the tabletop side, right? You have Dark Heresy, Only War, Rogue Trade. All of the Fantasy Flight 40K games are really cool. Eventually, I gravitated towards Rogue Trader, which in my opinion is the best of the role-playing games, and the best piece of media for Warhammer in general. Because Rogue Trader actually gives the player freedom to actually interact with the lore to a greater extent. You have power in the setting. The more power you have in a setting, I think that the more you need to learn about it, right? Because to be able to wield your power, you need to be able to insert yourself in it. So I even ran a Dark Heresy game for you, Zolar.
Oh yeah,
for you and Nick. Yeah, I think that was the first game I ran in the 4D style. So it was pretty cool. I must agree with Roger. One of the things I love about the FFG 40K RPGs is that the Fantasy Flight, the publisher, they picked up a part of the lore, a part of the universe called the Calixis sector, and they made it their own. And the Calixis sector is like entirely made by Fantasy Flight. That is so cool because you can actually grasp the idea that this is like very different from other places. One of the things I don't like about 40K, the way it is usually portrayed, is that a lot of things tend to fall to their default, right? Like every Imperial Guard regiment you see, like when you train a conscript in Dawn of War, it's the Cadian guys, like it's always that, right? And I'm not a big fan of that. Calixis sector is really cool. Like there's the Centillion Fusiliers. There's a ton of different the Maccabian Janissaries are really cool as well. There's a ton of.
I know that the Creeks are very popular too.
Krieg is very popular as well. Yeah, it's either Acadia or Krieg, right? But I'm here like enjoying like all the different types of. I mean, the Imperial Guard is so cool. It's like I like to say that the Imperial Guard is the glorification of all of the ages of human warfare, right? Because you can find Janissaries, you can find like, British muzzle loaders, you can find like everything in it. But yeah, so that is how I got involved with Warhammer.
I do remember the Dawn of War 1 campaign where you walk around the planet and you find out a tiny outcrop of two Imperial Marines, right? Not the Marines, the Guardsmen. And they say, so you've been holding out against the orcs in here for weeks without food, without shelter, without support? Yes, my lord.
Yeah,
gets me every time.
I'd say mine follows a similar trajectory to Conway. I started out with Dawn of War. I actually got into the tabletop war game after. Been on and off about with it over the years. I think I jumped up before 9th edition because honestly, like, there's a lot of like stuff going on with it that makes it a right pain to keep up with. New rules, point adjustments every 3 weeks. It's silly. So I decided to play other war games, really. I used to play a lot of the Fantasy Flight War RPGs throughout the 2010s. I was rabid to get into those games or to try and convince the people that I know, oh, we need to play some Dark Heresy or something like that. I actually do have some models still. Like, I haven't gotten rid of them. I've got models in the Custodes, Space Marines, some Guard, and some Sisters of Battle that I've never played with, but I just think they look cool.
I have a box of 4th edition stuff, I think, I remember space somewhere from when I first got into it way back in teenage years, which is in various stages of painting.
Great tide, man.
Yeah, absolutely. The classics, the boxes of shame collecting somewhere in a corner of, oh, it would be cool to like have a little mini army of Adeptus Mechanicus, and then they stay in the box for 5 years somewhere. I think I'm pretty much the late bloomer in Warhammer stuff, because I didn't play the video games when they came out. I played them much later, because I was a big fan of StarCraft and Warcraft back then, which is, yeah, it's like, yeah, those are the video games I grew up with. And there was always this kind of, well, they stole from Warhammer. It's like, oh, they had a deal with Games Workshop that fell through, so they did their own IP out of the games to do their own thing. And also, I grew up with a Mac Mini, which means no old like Dawn of War game can even be played, since it's not a Mac product, cannot be played on a Mac. So I missed out on that. Somewhere around like tabletop 8th edition is when I got interested from, I've been role-playing a lot, like role-playing Shadowrun, role-playing Dungeons and Dragons, role-playing some German systems, The Dark Eye. Going into, what if I want to try out this tabletop thing, and tried out painting some minis, and got into the Tau Empire. Learning about Warhammer from the wrong end, as so many people like to say. Like, no! Stop appealing to the new generation. I mean, the minis are fucking awesome. What can I say?
They do look pretty cool.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And then, like, afterwards, since I really enjoy Warcraft 3 and StarCraft, yeah, I played Dawn of War 1, had a great time. And the other ones have never been touched. and they have a couple of the other video games. Which ones did I really enjoy? Mechanicus has been great. And then a couple of them that I just never bothered to finish. When the Dark Tide video game came out, that really had me interested in learning more about the lore again. And there's like this whole YouTube rabbit hole of, oh, let's talk about lore for 1 hour. Just hop down the rabbit hole about this specific niche. And I really enjoy just listening to them while I'm painting my Tau miniatures.
There's a whole ecosystem of Warhammer lore to go to sleep to.
Yeah.
It's people talking at length.
There's a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the best 40K RPG today, the best 40K video game today is Chapter Master. That isn't even a game; it's a mod. Chapter
wow.
Master is so good.
It's more like a fan-made simulation of running a Space Marine chapter. Something Games Workshop could tap into, but their campaign systems have never ever focused on anything like strategic or logistic planning, unfortunately.
It's kind of it's like if Aurora 4X was a 40K game, somewhere. That's the best way to put it.
Oh God.
Yeah.
They could make it.
I mean, if you Google Chapter Master 40K game, you'll see the screenshots.
Mm.
That's where the Planet of Guardsmen comes from, my favorite 40K game.
I'm afraid to find out. Okay. Yeah, I see the vision. Okay, so Raven, I mean, where do we start? I talked about why Raven Glory, so let's hop into it. Like, Who actually got to play this before? I ran a one-shot at a convention. It was a dumpster fire and everyone liked it. So
Well, I got the early buy-in to it, so that's why it's got an alternate cover. Included some additional goodies. Never played the game. I read the system. I was like,
one
Never ran
quirk about the rule books that I see is everything they release, they talk about the Gilead system. Like, oh yeah, play in the Gilead system. Like all the races represented. We got orcs, we got the Eldaris, and of course the boys, the humans, the space marines. It's just here's this little sandbox to role play in. Not, I guess, not the rest of the universe is not being bothered with.
But
in
that's
this rule
cool.
set.
That's like the right way to do it. It's kind of like what I said with the Calixo sector, right? If you're gonna write something about 40K,
Right.
like make a small part of it your own.
yeah,
A system though, is it just like one star and a bunch of planets?
could be a
Is it like
few.
an actual sector?
So
I think
So
it's designed to be.
this as a Gilead system that is quite literally 8 planets.
Oh,
Okay. This
so it's like a mini sector.
Yeah.
It's even smaller than a sector. Yeah, I
If
mean, that's
that's
cool.
Yeah.
That is the correct approach in my opinion. Like have like a little system that the players can play in first.
Start
The
small.
GM knows what to go from there, right? That's pretty cool. I've never played Wrath and Glory, and perhaps I even have some animosity towards this system that is not even an existent being, right? It's just a product, because it separated my friends that played like the usual FFG 40K because they got like really hyped into it, and they started playing Wrath and Glory, and I didn't. I sort of like left the group before that whole shift, right? So I never played Wrath and Glory. And like I said, I'm a big like fanboy of the FFG 40K system, so we'll see. I mean, I still want to try it. Like, I'm not going to be like bad faith about it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I assume so, but you since you did take the time to show up and everything, even while you're setting up your own group on the side, like, oh, you're doing Wrath and Glory? Let me see all of your players.
To be fair, it was Dragon that started the whole "Let's play a 40K game" conversation, right?
That's true.
Dragon.
I do that.
Couple things that I'm still working my way through the rulebook itself. So I did like the trial by fire on a convention. I'm working through the rulebooks, which is all of the lore is first and then all the mechanics is second. So I didn't reach the mechanics part yet.
I mean, this is cool. That is how the FFG 40K games are as well. It's like the first third of the book is an art book, and then the rest is a role playing game. I mean, if you're gonna make an art book, do it like that, right?
I skipped ahead a bit and did read the mechanics, and I found a couple of videos as well. The mechanics have a rough idea. I did, when looking through them, wonder how Conway was going to deal with all the meta currencies in there. As I know you're
Not well.
have strong
is the answer.
opinions.
I think that the good thing
Yeah,
about
I
meta
haven't-
currencies is that you can just ignore them.
It's maybe slightly harder with this system because it's sort of baked in. So like the Wrath and Glory are like the two kind of major
Right.
economies in it.
I do expect to play around with Wrath and Glory since it's literally in the title of the product. It's like, oh, let's play Dungeons and Dragons, but there will be no dragon and you won't explore a dungeon. It's you know.
You could
Yeah.
just play in a kitchen cutting prawns, though. That's the thing.
Oh god. I did see that. That was horrible. And
I lasted about 5 minutes and not wanting to get up.
I did leave a comment there saying, where's this hand sanitizer they're using? I need a drink. I've reviewed those Pathfinder games, and the people cutting up prawns were role-playing more than the boys in Pathfinder. just
Totally
because
believable.
it's so weird. Just because you're role-playing doesn't mean the game is any better. It's at one time where roleplay did not solve everything, Conway.
Yeah,
So,
so
like,
in
what-
terms of
You go first, Roger.
Sorry. Okay, thanks. In terms of kind of where to start getting a grasp on kind of the whole thing, I gave that a little bit of thought, and kind of what I personally came to realize was that I think it depends materially on how long we expect this campaign to go, in the sense that if we were playing once a week, every week for a year, then that kind of encourages certain storylines and setups and approaches. While if we're going to play sort of like a 3-shot or a 4-shot, then maybe it makes more sense to, okay, we're going to stay on one planet and maybe in one city or in one hive and just kind of concentrate in there. Where if we know it's going to be ages and ages, and it's like, yeah, let's be some rogue traders and let's boot around to different planets and talk to a whole bunch of different people. So that was kind of my first sense about how to kind of narrow down the infinite universe of possibilities.
Yeah, that's a good approach. I've also, since like a part of the show is trying to turn it into a show too. So we will have character art instead of cameras for people to look at. So they have more of an audiobook experience and less of people talking about roles, since that already fits the 40 roleplay style pretty well.
I think the plan was roughly a 3-shot, wasn't it? I think based on the original discussion.
Yes.
Start with, yeah.
And that was to limit the scope of, if I run 20 sessions, I don't know how to edit 20 sessions, like once a week. I have no clue. I don't know if I have the time or the skills or the energy. So, okay, if I just do 3 sessions, I can work my way through that. Even if the uploads would be delayed by a few weeks, I could, I can see the end. I can see the light of the tunnel. So and the other thing is, I don't even know if Wrath and Glory is going to be any good yet.
Well, it'll be good. I can feel it.
Certainly.
So you're the psyker of the group.
He sees the future. So
All right,
one of the features of the Gilead system is there like those warp storms happening all around it. This whole system has been cut off from the rest of the Imperium for 3 years now. Like 3 years ago, this big event happened. And anyone that has arrived in the meantime has been part of some big rogue trader flotilla that's somehow made it through. People don't know why or how. But yeah, so some newcomers have arrived with that big flotilla. And that leads to basically a world of worlds that is filled with people that don't know if the Emperor's light shines on them anymore. So you got the classics of are people still trusting the Imperium system? Heresy spreading more amongst the common folk, suppressing that, of course. And we got different worlds to play with, agri worlds that are, I assume everyone here knows, it's just the farm world, and that's all the planet is used for. We got the classics. It's super cool that I have this little list to look at. A shrine world, the hive world. There's also a night world here. I don't know much about night worlds. Can somebody clue me in? What?
I would assume that they're in like perpetual darkness, so it could be something like.
Oh, not
the
about the
clouds
darkness. The nights, like the feudal nights.
Night World. Oh, Night World.
Oh, okay.
So basically, they have they're owned by a Imperial Night House, and Imperial Knights are these large, sort of semi-autonomous mech suits. They're not as big as Titans, but there's a lot more of them about. And usually they have like land and titles and a lineage, and it's a ancestral war machine.
Oh, okay.
They're worlds that survive the dark age of technology by regressing the tradition. So the whole population is made up of serfs, and they're very medieval coded. And you have these houses of powerful knights that basically own the whole planet, and they use that wealth to create massive mechs to send their scions into battle with. That's really cool, though. Okay.
Yeah. We also, I mean, we don't have to just like, I guess I don't have to say, oh, those are all the worlds that are here. But yeah, we there's also a Forge world of like, okay, the Adeptus Mechanicus are represented. And a big thing that everyone knows, like whether or not how prescient it is, up in the air. But like rogue traders are very much aware about the ammo shortage. Same with like any representation of the Space Marines. The chapters that are here also take a lot of pride in shooting the fewest amount of bullets as possible to show like how skilled in combat they are as a consequence of the ammo shortage. So we got a bunch of tank-sized people charging into combat to deal with the problem, instead of just like, oh, let me solve every problem with a bolter bullets from far away.
That's really cool. I mean, reading that, the first idea that comes to mind is playing like a priest, trying to reaffirm the imperial truth in the world, the Ministorum priest. What tier do you guys want to play?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question, because the higher the tier, the more like options you have available, sort of.
There was even the question of mixing tiers, which
you can ascend.
Yeah, ascending.
Yeah. Basically, you can take a lower tier and you can bring them up to more parity with a higher tier by like an ascension package.
Right. Basically with tiers we gain experience package that lets you build a character. So there's certainly some cases like, oh, you can start as this Space Marine scout, and he might ascend to become a full Space Marine through roleplay and through the experience points. But other cases, like the normal human, is never going to become a Space Marine scout because it's incompatible. It's what is it, like 10 years of training since childhood?
Full suite of complete genetic remakes and everything else going on. They're completely different species, I think, technically in this.
Yeah, there's Eldar and Orcs in the base book.
That's true. Yeah, those are available. And I don't know why they put Orcs in here. I think it's just people can roleplay as a group of Orcs doing Orc stuff.
Orcs are popular.
Yeah.
That's about it.
They're fun guys.
Indeed they are.
I did notice as well, there's a supplement that lets you play one of the Krut mercenaries from the Tau, so you could.
In terms of tier, I think it might be useful to start kind of in the lower half of the tiers, just because by tier 4 your dice pool is like 12 dice, and I don't know if anybody wants to deal with rolling 12 dice to do something all the time.
When I saw that your dice could go up to 16, I was like, this system is kind of bleh.
That's a lot.
That's when you reach Shadowrun levels of dice pool, which I have a lot of experience with, so I can handle it.
Dice system.
Honestly, big dice systems are alright, because you can roll it and you can, like, depending on the system, you can kind of group dice very efficiently. So it's not too bad if you get a little practice in.
Right.
It's
so
certainly. Go ahead.
So tier 1, it has some pretty solid options and a fair handful of archetypes, but certainly that really kind of opens up around tier 2, where you start seeing things like Space Marines and Rogue Traders and some of the real classics of the setting. So I think, and while still allowing people to play inferior guard and all the other fun adepts and things like that, psychers and cultists
Yep.
who are hiding their heresy from everyone in the rest of the group. Who would do such a thing? So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now in terms of tier, but I could
thinking
be
about 2 as well would be sort of a nice place to start, maybe.
Yeah.
2 seems kind of
Uh,
comfortable.
How do you guys feel about playing characters from different tiers, but that have the same background?
Without the Ascension. I was thinking about this. This is a bit of a taboo in role-playing games, unfortunately.
It's like,
where-
it's illegal. You're not allowed to mix the
Yeah.
level 12 paladin with the level 1 serf.
Like, that is so silly to me, because in every movie, in every piece of media that you see, it's super common that there's a very big power imbalance between the different main characters, right? And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why it's only in RPGs where, no, you need to be the same power level. Like, don't let your players follow different levels.
it's illusion of fairness, I call it.
Yeah.
No, I like a bit of strategy sometimes. It can be interesting.
I'm on the sort of tier 2 or tier 3 bandwagon myself. Like,
All right.
I'm tier 1 all the way.
That's right.
I just want to play
Playing
like
character
a random
eyes
Yeah.
every time.
I want to play the extra. Like, what fun is it playing the Space Marines?
Role-playing Space Marine, it's a power fantasy of whatever problem comes, you shoot it in the head.
Generally. I've always tried to, when I've played Space Marines in the various games, like try and make them like a more complicated character, like try and pattern them after like sort of heroic archetypes, but still have flaws.
Right.
That makes sense. Like some like a Greek hero or something.
Like a lot of the books and media would do that as well. Kind of take the Space Marines and sort of go more into their heads and see what they're actually like ticking, how they tick behind the scenes, because there's a lot more going on there than necessarily just a faceless war
And
machine.
sometimes there might be situations where like they don't really know how to deal with it.
Above characters, let's talk about the premise, or like factions in this case, right? Like we got from Conway, role-playing Space Marines a bit boring to him. So what kind of premise do we want to role-play? Is it helping the starving population that has been, since like trade has been cut off? Any like everything will be more expensive than usual. I can see a lot of gang wars escalating as over the years, right? With the supply lines cut off, that the hive scum might rise to the surface. We can also play around chaos burgeoning and rising as well with that, as faith falters. Or we can role play a scenario where the orcs are pushing more, and the problem is dealing with the xeno threat. Or do you wish to be the orcs themselves? that is the threat in the system.
All those sound fun, except for the orcs, because it would just be a combat fest.
and probably a comedy fest as well, which can be some fun, but I don't think it's quite what we're.
How do you
Orcs are
role
hilarious,
play? How do you role play the cunningly and brutal orc band of 4? Pretty much, right?
If all of us are orcs and we're cunning, then that's cool, because I imagine all planets are like imperial dominated, right? That'd be cool. Like stupid cunning orcs trying to take over a planet is pretty interesting.
I mean, the thing that I find fascinating about orcs is the whole like psychic thing, where like if enough of them believe something, it becomes reality, which is like a really weirdly cool kind of concept. You know, like if it's if it's red, it blows up more. If it's yellow, it goes faster. Whatever. Like if enough people believe it, like they're whatever way they connect to the warp means that they can actually physically manifest that in reality, which is quite a fun concept. But
It's very cool. I don't know how I would roleplay that, because it's like way above your pay grade, right?
Yeah.
If you're playing like a higher tier game where you get to become a war boss, maybe even declare a war, then you know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably not for this game.
Yeah, I think, for kind of everyone's first go out of the gate here, more or less, If you kind of look at where the kind of the base rules steer someone, most of the archetypes are imperial, most of the archetypes are humans.
Yeah.
You know, so unless everybody wants to play, you know, the same orc archetype, which again, speaking of, you know, hangups that RPG people have, I've had games like that where like half the party is playing thieves, and it's not actually a problem. Like everybody expects it'll be a huge problem,
It's
and you need to.
absolutely not.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think you know, to some extent, it's a question of how much we kind of want to engage with the lore and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we could definitely be all orcs, but then it's like, well, are these just space orcs in any setting because they all kind of look the same, or you know, what makes that all the Warhammer 40K goodness in it? And a lot of that texture and content, I think, tends to be focused on the imperial side of things, whether that's the enormous bureaucracy or the enormous church or the enormous forge worlds and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So
just do a Cockney accent. That's all you have to do.
Just gotta do a Cockney accent, pretend that you belong here. Bah!
No, see, I think the orcs to each other actually sound very civilized. And I say, sir, there appears to be some space marines coming over the ridge.
Just a monocle.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be black pilled here and just a doomer by saying that the reason why they have orcs in this book is because some people want to play orcs in the middle of a human party and they just pretend that it's normal.
Yeah.
Well,
now in Rogue Trader they did it well because, you know, in Rogue Trader it makes sense. You're the guy that deals with aliens, right? It's like having an alien in your retinue is like accepted a little bit.
There was a, I think in the intro story into the book, there is basically a mixed party apparently, and they're and they basically are like doing stuff. It's just all the humans and I guess Space Marine don't like the Xenos and vice versa.
That is technically an option. The setting book, the Veronius Flotilla, where you do role play as the retinue of a rogue trader, and it comes with like pre-baked characters, and one of them is you can also be a rogue trader too. But there's an Eldari available. You can play as a Skitari, I believe, and a sister hospitaller or sister of battle.
Don't remember for a rogue trader retinue to have Xenos, yeah. And the Eldar, to a certain extent, make a little bit of sense as well. The Eldar are like they actually are like elves in like the fairy tales when it comes to 40K, right? You have like the humans with their boots in the ground, they're the army, like doing stuff, the Space Marines. Then every now and then, like this ephemeral elf entity shows up, and they tell them, "No, you must go through the right path, not the left." And then they go through the left path and get killed. That's how the Eldar usually go, like in the lore, you know. They're like mysterious. They sometimes help humanity, sometimes don't. And that's cool.
And in this rulebook, they did give like a good amount of lore blurb of why the Eldari are interacting with the Imperium in this system. So you can have like some suspension of disbelief of, oh, look, a Xenos, I'll shoot it immediately. Like, no, well, maybe they can, you know, maybe not all of them.
It does happen, yeah. It does happen. Like, there are occasions where they'll work together for a while and then turn into each other.
In terms of like the setting, like a rogue trader, like retinue or group, may actually work really well for a 4D session. Opens up a lot of character ideas, different skill sets.
Absolutely. Like for role playing in general, the rogue trading retinue for me is the baseline of the players have the most amount of freedom to interact with this universe, because being the cog in the machine is incredible. Like you role play, spelling out the 57 litanies to praise the Lord Emperor between 18-hour working sessions, kind of deal.
Well, like, that would be chaos.
Yeah.
No, I think
Or
it's
be
more interesting to
scum.
get.
Like, okay, you're jobless scum. Good luck
Yeah.
surviving.
I like the idea of just role playing Cog in the Machine, right? That's a lot of what we role played. Like you're a normal guy, but it's incredible circumstances, right? Like, oh, the hive city's being sieged, and you're just a guy. Like, what do you do? You know?
I really like that personally, as a thing of focusing on a forge world or a hive world. You are a guy who, like, not just a guy that has a job, but a guy that doesn't have a job. Or your alternative is work in the manufactorum, where everyone is getting lead poisoning and growing weird pustules over the bodies, or don't work and figure out a different path.
You're breathing in space asbestos.
Yes.
Like there's something quite interesting as well about playing like a fanatic, like someone who's just like really like completely closed off to anything beyond like kind of the Emperor's glory, the Emperor, you know, like that sort of in the setting is quite interesting. The kind of real sort of anti-heretic, like complete black and white fanatics. It's a slightly different approach, and it's quite an interesting one potentially to deal with, because you're having to think in a very different way than maybe most people would normally, and that sort of approach to how they do anything.
Yeah, I want to play a Ministorum Priest. That's tier 1.
Yeah.
Although I do have a grudge with this, because it's tier, like, Imperial Guard is tier 1. The Imperial, I'm gonna say it, guys. The Imperial Guard are elite. Okay, like they're the best soldiers in the Imperium. The vast majority are just PDF. They're just PDF or like random mercs. Like, for a PDF guy, getting into the Imperial Guard is like considered an honor, you know. And they're tier 1, really? Come on. I'm not an Imperial Guard fanboy.
I mean, Tempestus Scions are tier 2.
Tempestus Scions
like they're like special forces tier guys.
Yeah, there's
like, is it because I'm aware of the other like elite forces? What are they called? Like Squadron or something? I can't remember. Not Skitari. I'm still talking about the
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, they're basically Stormtroopers.
Sorry about that.
The best science Stormtrooper in Latin.
So it's kind of a resolution problem, right? When you've only got 4 levels, and the top level is like the head of a Space Marine chapter, then the bottom level is not going to necessarily distinguish really closely.
Yeah.
Between
anything level 0 is just like not going to survive long enough to be worthwhile playing. I think it's probably
fair enough, especially for 3 sessions, right?
Yes. I mean, I have slight concerns about balance, but not really. I think I can just throw in some enemies and see how well, you know, if you all die or not.
Well, okay, so let me throw this out there, building on Conway's idea of maybe having a Imperial Priest type guy. We're just sitting around on our planet having a good time, and the Inquisition shows up. The Imperial Inquisitors show up, and they're looking for heresy, and you better not be a heretic. I think that could offer an interesting sort of, event for characters to respond to in a lot of different ways.
That's cool. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I guess
if you are a fanatic, it doesn't matter, because the Inquisitor could just decide that you're tainted, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So you're talking about role-playing a fanatic that is not part of the ecclesiarchy or the sororitas, like an outsider, normal citizen.
The inclusion of the sororitas here is so weird to me. I'm just ranting about the system now, but why is there a tier 1 sororitas? That doesn't make any sense. The sororitas are trained from childhood. Okay, I need to stop.
It's like the Sisters of Battle, I think, or tier 2. It's the Sisters of Battle. That's that word. But the healer essentially is tier 1, because they're not as combat effective, I guess, is where they're going for. But yeah,
they're medics. They're specialist medics. Yeah. If anything, they're more rare than the Sister of Battle. Sister of Battle is a foot grunt, and the Hospitalier is a medic.
If I recall correctly, it's probably because of like the equipment as well. Because like I don't think the Hospitaliers get access to stuff like power armor and bolt guns as standard issue kit.
They get the power armor.
Oh, do they do?
They get a chain bayonet, a las pistol.
Oh, fair enough.
Whereas the sister gets, I've got the online tool here.
But that's weird for the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sister of Battle gets her Sororitas power armor. And for the Hospitaller, I have to look it up.
She
What
gets
the
the
book
same.
says.
They both get power armor, and they get slightly different guns. So the sister gets better guns. They get bolt gun or chain sword and bolt pistol. And that's
I sort of feel like a producer was like, no, you need an option for the girls, guys. You need an option for the girls in the book. They need
That's
to be
basically
tier
all the
1 as well.
sisters.
I mean, yeah, this very much reads like we need a healer for tier 1 players, you know? They need a healer in the party. We can make the Hospitaller and make her shit so they can play with that.
Well,
Nobody ever wants to play with Clark.
if we go to tier 2, I was looking through some of the options and I was like, well, there is the temptation to suggest Eldari Ranger.
Mhm.
That could be
Yeah.
cool. Never really played Eldar before. Not really too thing on their lore, but I'm like, yeah, but Rangers have a cool vibe and aesthetic.
The Rangers kind of like the outsiders, so you can kind of almost play them
Yeah, they
different
can
because
like
they're the ones who
appear.
go off, but they leave the society and like go off and do their own thing for however many years and then come back. It's kind of like the
That's really cool.
But I don't know how that would apply with the rest of the group. Like,
I don't want to limit you guys on character options of, well, how would it fit? We can figure that out.
okay,
And like right now there are no walls yet, but you know, the further the stream goes, the harder it's gonna get.
Sure,
But
yeah. I would even be willing to play the tier 1 guy. Not even like ascended to tier 2, just a tier 1 guy in the middle of the group, you know. Be the first guy to catch a bullet.
I did
you can just play like
roleplay
five guard Imperial Guard and just have them all lined up behind you. So just keep doing it in one each time.
I have 7 level 0 characters, guys. I mean, roleplay all 7 of them.
I did roleplay the Inquisitorial Sage, and all I did was I'm an old guy that knows the laws really well. So I'm like constantly wheeling and dealing about the ministeriums to get my party where they need to go. Because nobody wants to stand in line for like half a year to get a stamp on some scroll so they can like go to the next district over without getting arrested. Like part of the bureaucracy bloat is part of the fantasy in my head of how do you deal with people? Well, somebody needs to know the fine print.
Yeah.
I think tier 2 is the coolest tier. I mean, I don't know why the Scutari are here. The Scutari are way more elite than the Stormtroopers.
It's because they're more elite than the normal guards, man. That's why.
The Scutari are honestly like Space Marine tier when it comes to how elite they are.
they're pretty tough.
Okay, I mean, if we do go tier 2, right, and if I don't go with the priest, then I think a Tempestus Scion is cool. Like I'm an elite shock trooper, but the like I imagine that the system has been cut off for so many years. Like I'm one of the few ones left, not even enough to man like a squad. So they just like separated us, like put each one in a different squad. You know, like maybe I'm the guy in charge to protect like this Imperial city or whatever.
There is an option to build your own archetype with the way the experience system is laid out, that you just collect the experience and build your own rank of what would be the appropriate rank for this competent character to have. So you're not locked in to like Tempestus Scion. Like the ones that I was looking for was the Karskin, right? That's what I imagine the elite guardsmen to be.
That's what
The
they used
Karskin
to
are
be.
technically, they're technically Tempestus Scions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's just they kind of like made their own thing, despite the fact that the original Cascarine model was really cool because it was basically like they're wearing like what's called carapace armor, which is like a up armored version of the flak armor that regular guardsmen get. And they're like cool like gas masks and like backpack like fed las guns. Really cool.
Yeah.
The art in this book is phenomenal, by the way. I really like it.
Oh yeah, it is. I might go with the like Eldari Ranger then, like a kind of figure that's been trapped in the same system. And if you're like a survivalist guy, they might know each other, may have crossed paths. And that survivalist, sort of like one of the last of his unit, they might have encountered each other before.
Yeah, and the way I see it, since there's no point in keeping a Tempestus Ion unit of like what should be 30 guys, there's only 2 left, right? It's like there's no point in keeping them as a squad. So like they separated them into like important parts of the front. Imagine my character is like the guy in charge of protecting like this village, right? I have an officer right above me, but I'm the guy that is like for this village. They want to have to protect alongside like 4 other guys because supplies are running.
Ooh, I actually like this. Not how. Well, I'm wrestling with a couple of things. The one of them says being the what are they called? The worlds, the hive worlds, right? That the whole world is just cities. So how would that interact with being a guy in charge? Like, oh, you had a platoon to protect the village, but the platoon is gone. It's like 2 boys left, and some good-natured Eldari, or well, an Eldari who's not shooting you on sight.
Well, hive worlds usually, well, not usually. Hive worlds can have other settlements as well, right? Hive worlds can have multiple hives.
Yes, that's
like it's a whole planet. So yeah,
it's describing like vast deserts between hive cities, which is also like breeding ground for gangs to, like basically biker gangs running past looking for crashed shipments or anything of the sort to scavenge and loot. And of course, orcs might be a thing. Who knows? Stop saying stuff. I'm recording.
I want to hear what Roger and MMCV have to say as well. What should we call you, MMCV? Because that's a bit of a mouthful.
Oh, hang on. Call me Matt.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know if you changed it already. Yeah, can I change it? And I've never used it.
Yeah, you should be able to.
On the bottom left, you can click your own name.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
If it would something I might be interested in playing, and it might make it easier for the rest of the group, is I'd be willing to go and just play the Rogue Trader guy. Right, Rogue Trader is only tier 2. I get my own frigate. And you guys want to be my in quotation marks crew, then yeah, I mean, I don't technically have the authority over any of you, especially not some space elf who just showed up, but that gives us a good reason to kind of be hanging out together and doing whatever the hell we want to do.
Maybe like since I'm one of the few like stormtroopers left, as soon as the Rogue Trader showed up with just a little crumb of ammunition to give the planet, like, no, you need to take our top guy. Like, he'll protect you. If you're going anywhere in the planet, you need to take our top guy as a bodyguard.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. As a Rogue Trader, if I start hearing about an ammunition cache or factory or something was discovered, yeah, let's get over there and seize it for the Emperor. And also,
I imagine you don't have a ship, right? Or it's like hand waved away. Because you could just bombard everyone from orbit and kill like the whole Space Marine chapter. Well, not a Space Marine chapter.
Rogue Trader Tier 2 War Gear Imperial Frigate. That's what you start with. Yeah. Yes.
GM, I get in my frigate and bombard the planet from orbit. How much XP do I get?
All of it. That's right. Exterminatus. Just in the whole system.
That's crazy to me that you just like starting equipment. You get a pistol. You get like a few like robes. Oh, you get a Imperial class frigate. Imperial sword.
It definitely solves the problem of, well, how do we get to this other planet? Well, we have to schmooze with this Rogue Trader or that faction that has a barge or something. It's like, nah, I got my own ship, bros. And I have this writ that allows me to wheel and deal with whoever I come across. Don't shoot me down.
But
political
how is this? The sword class frigate has like 10,000 people as crew. Like, how is this? How is this a tier 2 thing?
It's just the way it is, man.
I mean,
don't
the
know.
tier system is very much personal power. And the ship is not part of his character sheet. When he gets shot, the ship doesn't stand in the way. Well, you know, like the people have to board the ship first to shoot Roger, of course.
But in terms of the setting, like I think it would make sense if I'm sort of in a vassalage relationship with Veronius. So he's like the top dog rogue trader in the system, and maybe I'm technically an independent agent, but practically speaking, I kind of got to do what he says and go where he tells me to do, and try not to piss him off too much. But he probably doesn't want to micromanage me either, right?
Yeah.
You could be like a 7th tier separated cousin from Veronius. Because that's the thing that rogue traders do, right? They need I have an heir, but in case the heir is assassinated, I have the second heir, the third heir, fourth heir. Like they have a very clear line of succession.
Sorry, way down at the bottom sometime after the janitor gets killed, it's like, yes.
Yeah, you get to be the rogue trader. And I mean, it makes sense for a way to have a ship, right? You want to have your cousins be captains of their own ships.
You can, from where I'm standing, you could also be a rogue trader that happens to be in the system already doing a deal, and then the storm fucked up all of your trade deals of going back home.
Sure, yeah.
Whichever you like more, like we can tie you in with Veronius. I mean, that gives us something to work with for sure. But it's
okay. I'll put a pin in that, and let's go over to Matt and see what he's thinking.
Well, sort of
playing the orc commando that pretends to be a guardsman. He wears a helmet.
No, I was actually thinking. So if you're going like the rogue trader route, then I was thinking maybe Death Cult Assassin as like the bodyguard, because that was kind of quite common. Rogue traders would use Death Cult Assassins as bodyguards, enforcers, and that side of things. So like if we're going with that sort of group, it would make sense to have like someone like that sort of at your side or on your crew, as your main enforcer, main bodyguard. So I was just sort of looking into the Death Cult Assassins there, and that might be the way to go.
That's
I like it.
I've never seen a Death Cult Assassin before, so.
Yeah, I don't know much about them, so it was literally just to go in the background just to see how it all works.
A couple details that I've picked up on from watching some other people role play and what the book says. Death Cult Assassins have a relationship with the Ecclesiarchy, who uses their services to help the church out, to get rid of undesirables that, you don't really want to know who got rid of them, but it helps the emperor nonetheless. And in turn, the Death Cult Assassins don't get too many questions about their secret death rituals they're performing in the basements and stuff like that. Also, a couple ways I've seen it role played is, it's some nobleman's son that has this incredibly weird hobby that has to do with dissecting people or stuff like that. Like, who gets to be...
There's also kind of an aspect of that sort of like fanaticism and like slightly bordering heretical thing as well, which is interesting.
Are they part of the official Assassinorum, the Death Cult Assassins?
I'll have to check.
I'm currently on the wiki trying to read it in the background to see. It says that they're employed as servants of the Emperor, such as the Inquisition, Ecclesiarchy, and
the
dynasties.
Okay.
But they're also sometimes seen as heretical by the Inquisition. So I guess it just depends what Inquisitor you're dealing with at any particular time.
Wait, is there a official Assassinorum character in this book? Because that might convince me to play a high tier character if I can play a Imperial Assassin. That'd be so cool.
What was the question exactly? My nose was in the book.
No, I just looked at the book and you can't, unfortunately. I love the official Assassinorum guys. They're so cool.
Yeah, I think the
Garlic
Death Cult
Crusaders,
is more...
Tier 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Death Cult Assassins are more like religious fanatics who kill people for the Emperor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting the vibe of. It's like they believe in death and blood, and that's kind of their fanaticism there.
And it's definitely like its own little sect, its own little in-group as well that gets used by the priesthoods, right? The ecclesiarchy, which is why they're tolerated in the first place. If like they have to serve the emperor. If not, that's now you're on the heretical grounds.
Yeah.
So relationships.
Some are very are loyal followers, and others become deluded and corrupted. So yeah, sort of a.
Yeah, so I posted on the Discord the assassin guy. That'd be so cool to play.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's not an option in the Fantasy Flight. I don't think there is an option.
You can play Vindicare in the first edition of Dark Heresy, and they are obscenely broken. Like
I would imagine so.
they have like multiple dodges. They can like dodge like explosions or literally anything.
If they're Vindicari, then it's ballistic skill plus 80, I imagine.
Yeah, like they're really ridiculous.
In the lores and all are these guys, they're the ones that are sent to assassinate people. In Vrax, one of these guys tried to assassinate the heretical priest, and it is written that he stood like on top of a tower spire for 3 days to get the chance to shoot, and he shot through 3 layers of wall.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Role-playing snipers I always find fascinating because it's super fun to do the setup and get ready for that one moment. And then it's sometimes really hard to roleplay because you have a group of people that want to interact with you and you're like, nah, I'm hiding up here in this one corner. Like, don't talk to me. I'm ready for my shot.
It's sort of like the hacker in the earpiece kind of deal,
Yes. All right, so we got the Eldari, we got the Rogue Trader, we got
the Stormtrooper,
right? The Tempest of Sion. So for Matt, what did you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Death Cult. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Death Cult Assassin.
Death Cult Assassin, cool, awesome.
As the bodyguard enforcer of the Rogue Trader.
Fantastic. Should I be taking notes? I don't know.
I really like the idea that it is part of the condition that if you want to sell ammunition to my planet, like I need to follow you around as a safeguard, Yeah. Right. So I imagine that my character wouldn't really like Matt's character too much, Oh, I have my left hand assassin, my right hand, my left hand bodyguard, and my right hand bodyguard.
Yeah. A post, yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean that could add some interesting tension. I mean, player on player goes in there as well.
Are your characters local?
Mine is.
I think mine's not. I think mine came in with the Rogue Trader.
Oh, okay. So you've been around for years in his service?
I think so. I mean, I need to read up more on the lore of them here, but certainly from what it says, it does seem like they do get employed into sort of Rogue Trader service and used sort of in that way as bodyguards, enforcers, and that side of things. So I think it would make sense if I've maybe been in sort of Roger's character's service for some time as part of the crew.
I do believe maybe Roger can fill me in a bit that if a Rogue Trader shows up and says, well, I need him or I need her, how much pushback is the ecclesiarchy really giving a Rogue Trader?
Yeah, the sense I have is that it's all very realpolitik, the way that Warhammer 40K is sometimes, where, if you look at the big, Imperial org chart, it looks like, well, no, this guy doesn't report to that guy. But in practice, if I've got an Imperial frigate in orbit and you don't, then you're going to give me what I want. And then 5 years down the road, if a bunch of the Inquisition shows up asking about me, well, I guess I know whose toes I stepped on, when I asked for that thing. So, I think that's sort of the impression I get from the role of Rogue Traders is that, they kind of can do what they want, but it's just all rope to hang themselves with, So if they're very smart, that's why they kind of keep moving from system to system, because they don't want anyone to, get too close to them and figure out what's going on. That's kind of the impression that I would take with this character, I think. I'm certainly happy to have Matt kind of on board and getting to know me, and probably don't like each other necessarily, but there's probably a measure of respect, there. Conway, I can certainly see, picking up. If you're sort of the kind of like the Imperial quartermaster is like, holy crap, we need to get these logistics working. You go figure out, how to get 30,000 Imperial rations and a whole bunch of ammunition delivered to our location, that sort of stuff. And the Elder, I mean, space elves can kind of do whatever they want, right? So maybe we had a deal at some point in the past. Maybe you had a deal, with my 47th ancestor. And, according to the contract, it's like, oh, I have a right to be here. I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever.
I was more thinking that, part of the negotiation with that sort of like being on your ship is I perform services. Well, I'm essentially an additional hired muscle for you, because an Elder has a certain set of skills and contacts that they can use, as well as being a spooky invisible man.
Sure. I can see it being a pretty straightforward, mercenary arrangement, at least on paper. But yeah, certainly. What that leads me towards is, as spooky, mysterious guy, like if you tell me, hey, there's this Elder artifact or something that I just found out about through the Elf network that we really got to go get, then I'm probably going to say, you never steered me wrong before, so let's go get that thing that's currently held by the priestesses as a heretical artifact in their deep vaults and stuff.
Well, the way Eldar typically handle getting humans to do things for them is be very vague about it and then kind of subtly engineer events so you go in that direction.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think my character's big problem is that he's not nearly as smart as he thinks he is. So he's always thinking, "Oh, I'm pulling the levers. They're all dancing to my puppetry strings." While in reality, it's exactly the opposite. That everyone's manipulating him all the time to go wherever they want to go, and he just keeps thinking, "Yes, I've got them under my thumb, right where I want them."
Oh, so you're really leading into the what's it called? The nobility, like son of a that nobody really cares about. So I got a ship. I'm so important, and cannot read people at all.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those. You kind of see it with like real world dictators all the time, where he just has anybody who disagrees with him executed. So everyone's like, "Yes, sir, that's a great idea. Let's do that thing."
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Surely nothing could possibly go wrong.
No. All according to plan.
Premise, what are we doing for 3 sessions? I can certainly take the week to be like, okay, you're all on your ship, right? And then information comes out. But if you have something to start with, it also helps me to be like, okay, what system am I gonna look at? Are we gonna visit an agri-world and have a beautiful time by the flower meadows as shithead Japan? Or
could we have crash landed? I know it kind of necessarily takes away the ship, but maybe repairing the ship is part of the thing. Could be we've crash landed somewhere very dangerous, and it's sort of finding what we need to repair the ship so we can take off again.
Yeah, a small detail that I've ignored so far is if you have a frigate, how many lives will protect you with their guns? You know, are we talking about thousands of people? But if it's
Thousands,
crash
yeah.
landed, it's like, okay, it's a skeleton crew. Because a
Well,
bunch of people are dead, and you have to
It
repair
could
it.
be
and
with
contact-
Crash Planet somewhere. We're under attack. The crew are holding
Oh.
off the attack, and we have to go and find whatever it is. that we
Hopefully,
need.
it's not the frigate that crash landed because
yeah,
Or, well, the
that'd be-
landing craft or whatever.
yeah, landing craft.
yeah, it
Yeah,
would.
not the massive big.
I'm also thinking, okay, does the rogue trader ever want to leave his fucking ship? You know, it's like, no, I'm safe here.
Welcome
I'm
to
not
Rogue
going
Trader.
anywhere.
That is the biggest thing in Rogue Trader. Like, why are we going into a dungeon, right?
Yes.
When I play Rogue Trader, I never say, no, you guys need to go into this dungeon I prepared, guys.
Yeah, well, like I said, my captain here isn't quite as smart as all that, and he's easily manipulated. So, for example, I can see a scenario where the four of us went down in a shuttle, dirt side to sign a bunch of contracts or something to secure an ammunition contract or something like that, and then we're back on our shuttle, and I get this, Vox communication that heretics have taken over my ship.
That'd be cool too. Your own ship becomes the mega dungeon.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, that's still good. We got to get back there and get my ship, you guys. So, that's probably 3 sessions of.
I love the idea of an agri world where it's a little bit more backwards. Like there are towns, but they're like far apart and these massive, endless fields of corn or space.
There'd be
corn or
massive harvesters as well, like these ancient machines
Yeah.
that just gather up all this grain. I think there's like one world in an agri world in Dark Heresy Second Edition where they make a lot of this grain and feed to feed into these slugs that they breed, which then they process into not very nice but long-lasting sort of like biscuits.
That's
the
the thing.
entire
There's
supply chain.
I love agri worlds in 40k because they have tiers of agri worlds. You have like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 agri worlds are pure. They just produce fertilizer, usually through amoeba. Like they have like this planet covering amoeba. So like the whole planet is covered like this purple like living biomass. And like giant ships come, they scoop the amoeba off. They take them to tier 2, which is like where you grow grains. It's like when we think of agri world, we're thinking of tier 2. It's like they throw down this mass of like dead amoeba like for the plants to feed on. They grow into corn, and then like you take the corn to a tier 3 where it's processed into meat or something that humans can eat.
Yeah, and Agri World's a really classic setup too for the whole Night World approach as well, where it's all feudalism as well. So you got a bunch of peasant serfs out there with their robo hoes and plows and stuff.
It could be like, because I'm thinking about this whole munitions idea, and I like it. I'm thinking Varonius sent you to collect munitions because he himself or somebody he actually trusts deals with the Forge World to get the actual ammunitions trades done, like to get the big deals done, while he sends you off to like the Night World or the Agri World to be like, yes, you guys have ammo, right? I'm down to deal.
This is a little bit real world nerdy, but it might be effective here. So the way that how most explosives and most fertilizers are like the same chemicals, right?
Oh,
Like nitrites and nitrates, they're the same.
Okay.
So it may be that kind of deal where, hey, there's this whole load of fertilizer, which also happens to be, really good explosive materials. And, it's your job to say, no, let those 100 billion people starve to death because we need that load of fertilizer to go to our Forge World so we can make, a bunch of bolts.
okay.
Maybe?
Sure. I mean,
But let's do an agri world then, or let's go with the Night World, because then we have like other powerful NPCs to talk to, right?
yeah.
We can talk to these knights, and if they show up in a mech, we're screwed. And maybe to get the rogue trader down planet side on an agri world, you would need bodyguards as well, which is where my character comes in. I like the idea that my character is like the oldest soldier there, like he's been fighting his whole life, to keep that Agri world, or rather that Night world, from falling into whatever the hands of whatever are attacking it. You know.
Sure, yeah. Or the other thing too about the Imperial Guard, right, is in theory there's that 10% tithe annually of Imperial Guards off of every planet to go to the Emperor. Well, for 3 years, there's been no way to deliver that tithe, right? So all those guys have just been kind of waiting around to get shipped off planet, and they're like, "What? I want to die for the Emperor." It's like, no, you can't. You got to stick around here on Crap World. And to cut my character a little bit of slack, I can envision it being Imperial protocol that the rogue trader himself personally must sign the contract and apply his seal of, yes, I approve this contract. And, as much as he tries to put it off to proxies and I'll digitally sign that. It's like, no, you can't. Needs to be your DNA and blah, blah, blah. So, sure.
There's definitely levels of, well, you need to show up for the meeting so we know this rogue trader is actually alive and not the proxy of some underboss, like underworld boss or something.
Yeah,
I like this.
Yeah.
I like this. There's a lot of potential here. I love the idea of we start with the deal itself, and on the way back, it's, oh, who knew? My ship is in trouble. as a starting off point for problems to arise, and there's lots of room to work with. Dealing with like the knights themselves on the planet, if the desire arises of powerful NPCs that don't have too much to do except live lavishly and wait until they're connected to the Emperor again. So just hold fast,
reading
boys.
About the Gilead Systems Night World here, Nithrius. It's saying home to several night houses, and the knights often prove their worth by battling the megafauna on the planet, which could be interesting, having sort of some massive, big, sort of monstrous beasts around.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Okay, so with that, I think we have a plan. Trying to figure out what time is it now. We're like 1 hour 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like the show itself. This time works pretty well for me. I'm also scheduling around my wife doing her own thing. Like we use the same room, so I need to start at 10 so she can finish her role-playing sessions stuffs beforehand. So does this time work? And I'm thinking 3 hours maximum as like the cutoff point. So 2 hours role play, and then we have some wiggle room of somebody's like 15 minutes late, or talking about how the game went, and of course discussing system rules questions before we are lost in the role play. And once we role play, there are no breaks. If you ran out of ref points, you don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. We are just gonna keep on going until everyone dies, kind of situation.
Yeah, I think time wise for me, 9 is what's 9 o'clock for me. Starting time is.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah, I mean 10 for you, obviously, but yeah, it's it depends a lot about how well I can get the kids to bed. Unfortunately, my kids do not sleep well, so getting to bed is a big issue. I've already heard my wife had the window on in the background here. So like 9, quarter, half past potentially might be a thing. I'll obviously aim to try for 9 as much as I can, but there might be the odd occasion where I'm a little delayed on that if I can't get them settled. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, yes, that should be fine.
Okay. I think it should
Yeah,
not
this time
be
slot works for me for sure.
All right.
Looks fine.
This will work for me as well.
So,
although I'll probably need to take not next week, but the week after that, I'll need to take a week's break, I believe.
for one, which one?
Not the next week, but the one after that.
The 8th of March.
Yes, I think I will not be available then.
Okay. I got my wife like telling me she's also playing Shadowrun on one of those days. I don't. What do you mean, Shatsi? Like you're gonna stop at 10, right?
That's the plan.
Good. Okay, problem solved. Try sometimes with her tables they end up playing for like, oh, let's play for 6 hours until 1 a.m. because they just don't want to stop.
No, we just talk shit after the session.
Yeah, it turns like into a hangout. So I kind of have to push her to be like, it's cool that you want to hang out, but please do it, when I'm not recording for a show.
Stop recording then.
So, anyways, that's a problem I'm dealing with on my end. It should work out.
I might have to drop out of the after discussions a bit earlier if it's going on to like 3 hours. I might need to, because that's getting quite late then. I usually have an early start on Monday, so I might need to drop out of those if it's run on a bit, but that's fine. We can play that by ear.
Yeah, I'm gonna push for like the 3-hour limits. We're not going beyond that. If we end up starting late, it will just be a shorter session.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, okay. The rule systems themselves, anything that like stood out that we should definitely talk about? Because on my end, as we talked about briefly, the wrath and glory functions, I didn't look into too much yet. So gotta find it.
Wrath's probably easy enough. Wrath's just like a personal currency that gives you free rerolls, I think, or something to that effect, or some bonuses.
Pretty much, yeah.
You start with 2, and you can get more for better roleplay. It's usually which is obviously a nonsense approach in most of these games.
We're gonna have infinite wrath then.
Yeah, the way I've usually handled it in similar games where they have like kind of roleplay focused tokens and things is just to give an extra one at the start.
If you picked your class, you will have objectives listed, which you can roll on once per session, and you just kind of roll what your objective is this session, and if you achieve it, you gain a wrath. Now, in a normal game, I assume the players would ask for permission. Oh, did I do my thing good enough to gain a wrath? The 4D way is if you do it, just note it down, like have it shown on your screen or just have it circled on your character sheet so you can keep track of it, so I don't have to. And if you want to use it, you can use it until you're out of wrath.
Can I decide to just not use it?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
Glory is a slightly more difficult one because it's a shared resource.
I wash my hands of the whole affair. You guys have it.
But it's one that we generate individually and add to the pool, and then throw off in the pool to use to do things in the system. Now, I think it's mostly just things like extra damage and maybe rerolls and stuff. I can't.
Yeah, it's extra damage and extra dice, I think, is the other main kind of mainstream usage. But yeah, I think we'll figure it out.
I mean, I kind of feel bad now wanting to deal with the titular mechanics of the game. But I don't know. I don't want to have to stop. Oh, hang on. I just roleplayed my character really well, but do I really want to have an extra chance of winning this? Should I re-roll? Like, no, I don't want to think of it. I just want to be my character.
For me, it's the same level as choosing to ignore inspiration in D&D 5e. You don't need to use inspiration. It's like your freebie in this super important fight of, well, I really want to hit this time. So I'm trying to figure out. So one of them is the wrath points, but then you also have the wrath die, which is something that you roll with. And the book is weird about this. It says, roll it on most of the tests, except when the DM feels like it's not needed, or that the wrath die would overcomplicate the results. So, but if we 4D role play, there's no space for me as a game master to step in and be like, make the roll, but ignore the wrath die this time.
But when we
Essentially,
played,
sorry.
you go first.
I was going to say, like, essentially, it's a critical success, critical failure mechanic there, and
Yeah.
the critical failure is like just narrative stuff. So I mean, that's easy to just build into your own system. It's the critical success is probably where it gets, because they kind of actively encourage you to try and negotiate or come up with ideas, and that's not obviously going to really work here.
I feel like it leans into the Star Wars roleplay system of, oh, you can succeed on the roll, but you have like a failure because you failed the wrath die. So there's a drawback happening while you succeed. And the same way around, like, oh, you lost, but your wrath die is a 5 or 6. Therefore, you gain a boon, like some benefit.
I think it only. From reading it earlier, I think the wrath die success only works if you succeed. So if you succeed and your wrath die rolls a 6 or whatever it is, then you get a critical success, extra down, whatever it is.
I did find the exact spot of the icons, determining icon and exalted icon, but also activates specific effects when it lands on a 1 or 6. These effects always trigger regardless if you succeed or fail the skill check.
Okay.
So yeah, it's being quite. I happen to be on that exact page.
It's okay. I read it earlier, but I can remember.
I didn't mean to be like, well, actually, push up my glasses up my nose.
That's the point. That's the point of this.
If you think it's worth it to keep this mechanic, then what if the GM rolls it, right? Every time that the player does a check and the GM thinks that something bad can happen, the GM rolls the wrath dice himself.
It's one of your pool, is the thing. So it also counts towards. So a success in the wrath dice is still a success in your pool, I think. Is that?
Yeah, that's the impression I get.
It's just a different color dice in your dice pool, essentially.
Oh, that's bad. That's. I would say it's very hard to 4D if you want to go with it.
Yeah, I quite literally have those because what's the starter set box, the dice, and then one of them is just red compared to the other dice. So you always know what your wrath die adds. There's also the 4, 5, and the 4 and 5 is a success, and the 6 is an exalted success, which means it counts as 2 successes. So now you're doing math if your dice pool system. Okay, let's count the 4s and the 5s, but the 6s are doubled, and now you're doing the additions in your head.
Okay, so I kind of put this together in Sophie's dice, where basically I just kind of renumbered some of the faces, and I don't know if so. For example, this would be 3 successes with that. The red die, the critical success being on the wrath die, so you get that glory effect or whatever.
You add a point of glory to the group's pool with the wrath success.
Oh, okay. If you can be ultimated like that, then
I think
Sophie's dice would be perfect for that. That's a great point.
So here, this is a 4 or a 5 on the wrath die, so it just counts as a normal success. Nothing special happens. The thing about the critical failure complication on the wrath die is that's basically the only way to run out of ammo. So we should probably keep it around just for that. But at that point, if we want to kind of decide that that's going to be kind of the default complication, if applicable, then again it's just I shoot my las rifle and it hits the orc, and I notice that the power pack is burnt out, so I pull it out and slot in the next power pack that I have, something like that. I think we'll make it work. We're smart people.
There's the book on page 163 also gives you an optional roll. Instead of like thinking of a complication, you can roll a d6 of what happens. So they have like the lost item, which can be the thing of you lose your weapon or you lose you run out of ammo. Like the physical mishap of you're clumsy or tongue-tied, or you say something you didn't mean to and you cause a problem. Like past problems that catch up with you that complicate the scene, the machine spirits, a harsh environment, or warp interference. Which is obviously like permission. Oh, you fail, you wrath die. You can co-create demons showing up.
Yeah, can we for Dia? That was going to be my question. Like, if I get a complication, can I make my own complication?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I would say so. Yeah.
For me, I will definitely put it in the shoes of the players to make the complication obvious. Both like, so I pick up on it, because if you create like, oh, what's this? And I don't know what it is. Oh, it's a purple hand opening demon portal. It's like, oh, okay, I know what's going on.
But it's a 1 in 6 chance, guys. Like, if you do like a demon hand, like 1 in 6 times that I reach for my cup, like I get a demon attack me.
I'm trying to figure out. So, okay, warp interference. How would that look like? You feel like the eyes of one of the ruinous powers is like watching you. They frighten you. Learn one of your secrets, or cause a supernatural mishap.
Right. So I personally would use that when, like, if somebody was playing a psyker character and they open their mind to the warp and they psychic blast someone, it's like, oh crap. Well, Nurgle just noticed that, and now you've got like an eyeball growing out of your ear or something. So, yeah. So not all of those are going to be applicable all the time, but and we are in the warp storm system, right? So
yes,
there's always crap that can happen.
Taking inspiration from that optional table is good, but using it would be cumbersome, I think.
Yeah, I think you just look at the list, and while you role play, it should be pretty like obvious of what would be a cool mishap that makes the scene exciting, or like actually punishes your character, instead of thinking, oh yeah, I just like lose the gun, but we have like 1,000 more guns on the ship, so it's not a problem. But just pick up another one from the rack.
Yep. Like I said, it's not necessarily something negative, but something unexpected and dramatic. So gives a bit of scope there.
Yeah, the other mechanical thing that happens, I think, is that the GM should get like a point of ruin when that complication happens, but that's even kind of a little bit more pointless, because the GM doesn't need meta currency to make stuff happen, right? It just makes stuff happen. So
7 points to Gryffindor, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to use it, then go ahead. But
it could be a tracker for the GM to sort of say, like, you're infiltrating a place and you cause wrath. That could be an indication of how the scene responds, like how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
So a bit more heightened alert or something like that. But it depends on the context.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Ruin technically is what it is, but yeah.
I'm trying to find where the ruin rules are listed.
Okay.
Because I see wrath, then there's glory, then the shifting, and ruin is not.
It's way off in the GM section, like page 320. It's in here.
Okay, Cubicle 7, you have to explain yourself about this choice. 200, how much?
It was 320. It was then in the index.
Oh, literally the end of the book. Okay.
What's this about dice shifting, though, that everyone seems to be talking about?
So if you get more successes than you need, you can shift them into things like additional glory or additional damage dice and things like that.
Yeah, so
additional damage dice.
We probably won't run into that too much at tier 2. I think the feeling I get from it mechanically is that it's, when you're a tier 4 Space Marine and you're rolling 16 dice and you score like 9 successes, right, against target number 3, then mechanically you kind of want something more to happen. So it's a way to say, okay, those extra 6 successes turn into 6 extra damage dice that I'm going to roll when I obliterate this orc out of existence, something like that. It may come up if we roll really high against a really low target number, but
Yes.
I suspect most of the time it's going to be like, but
Like a lot of the time, it looks like it's things like, oh, you get more information you would have done. You get, do
Yeah.
something faster than you would have done otherwise. It's kind of like just another critical success sort of thing.
You get to do a GM questionnaire.
You do get to.
That
Yeah.
is part of it, yeah. The GM questionnaire. What do I know about him? Because you're all so fucking awesome, so you can feel like James Bond. And you figure out something super clever about it. It's also like the improved quality of the test.
Is it turning into weapon like damage die a 1-to-1 ratio? Because if so, that's easy enough.
Yeah, I think for combat, it's pretty much just you get extra
Yeah.
shift. You transfer the damage.
One extra damage if you want to shift the exalted icon. So like
One
if your
extra.
weapon, I think the damage is like per weapon pretty limited. It's like, do you penetrate the armor or not? And although I do have to check on that as well. That was my understanding. Or you can also shift it for speed if your character has to get into melee and you're doing the equivalent of a charge to get into too close a distance. But I assume that is so incredibly niche. The one time it would come up, it will be obvious for you as a player.
yeah, and I mean we're all at a high trust table, right? So if
Yeah.
I notice Matt rolling more damage dice than he normally does, I'm just going to assume that he knows what he's doing. He's not just blatantly cheating the system with his melt a gun, turning that guy into goo.
It's quite like what how to use RAF points is also re-rolling failures, your 1, 2s, and 3s in your dice pool. Like very similar to Shadowrun. Oh, pick up those dice and roll them again. You use your RAF. So as the player, you narrate what you are doing. You roll the dice, you realize, oh, that's not good enough. And you choose, okay, you're basically flicking your RAF die away. And I don't even need to know as a game master. You don't have to tell me, as far as I know, unless it's tied to ruin somehow. But from what I understand, not really.
No, because you actually can't re-roll the wrath die. So it that part of it, as far as I recall, so that part of it should never come up.
Yeah.
It's just someone taking a little bit extra longer, rolling all their dice to say that, oh, I succeeded, oh, I failed. I'm really wrathful, so I succeeded more when I almost would have failed. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, if you want, you can re-narrate, like you can narrate what you're doing as, instead of a failure, it was a success. It's like there are cooler ways to narrate it, and then there are blatant, obvious ways to narrate it. But I am not sweating those details too much. Yeah. I'm not sweating those details.
The bit then that we still probably haven't fully addressed how we'd handle is the glory aspect, because that's the other shift, is you can shift at least one of yours into the glory pool. And how we kind of manage and maintain that across as a shared resource is definitely a fiddly one. And if it's something we want to, use. Okay, what is it? I'll just find the glory rules here again, so I can.
Yeah, so gaining glory. You start with 0 glory. When you have a 6 on your die, you can shift that to be a glory point for the party.
And if you get a 6 on your RAF die as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of that will be a little bit dependent on exactly kind of what technical setup we're using, I think. Possibly we can kind of maybe keep a running total in the private chat of StreamYard if we're using that to say, glory +1, glory -1, which might make it a little bit more obtuse for, our audience of millions of people watching our ongoing show to figure out exactly what's going on. But, I'll trust that Zonalar is going to figure that all out post production, make it look really super sweet. You know, fireworks.
There were definitely
glory.
examples of just tokens on screen for viewers to help keep track of.
Mhm.
But as a like post production kind of thing, I'm not gonna use my camera as like, oh, like in the corner of my camera you can look at all the tokens. Maybe I can
That
for
makes
us
sense.
playing it.
Just as a quick point, I'm still feeling a bit on the uncertain side. So if I do take it a bit slow in resolving things at first, that's completely understandable. I'm a quick learner though, so by the time I've done the mechanic like once or twice, I should know what I'm doing.
I
we're
do
all
hope-
saying
doing it.
Yeah, I do hope we get into combat fairly early and see, you know, does the last gun hurt, or I might not even bother because I'm an Eldari or I'm a super soldier. You know, Soldier 76 over here, Conway, can shoot his way through any problem. Or I've had a friend of mine when we talked about potentially playing Rev and Glory. He really disliked the plasma gun because it's way too powerful. It's super OP compared to anything else in the book. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's a plasma gun. It should be. I hope so.
Well, there's also the fact that it can explode.
Ooh, yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
I really hope it's not a 1 in 6 for it to explode.
it is on the tabletop. Well, war game.
There
Yeah.
will be armor, especially weapons. They have the tagging system, so you can know stuff like what melter and multi-melter and all of that kind of stuff have the tag, and the tag means something. So it gonna, depending on your gear.
This is a Games Workshop problem where they make the las gun, and there's a hotshot las gun, and there's the melta gun, which is different, and there's the hyper melta, and then there's the plasma, and there's the multi-plasma, there's
The other mechanical combat subsystem that might be a little bit awkward for us to deal with is there's a whole thing about determination and shock, where it's like you get shot, but then you roll, and if you succeed, you're so determined that it's no longer a wound, but now you're in shock, but the shock goes away after a while. And I trust we'll get to it, but
I don't think it's too much of a problem. There can be elements of, especially if we're talking about, well, you get shot by a plasma gun, and you have so much determination and shock, and you're just brushing it off. Where that's the fear in my head of push comes to shove and nothing makes sense anymore. But as a base system, being it's somewhere at the start that I do want to have it, the defense system of, it's your first line of defense, which is your initiative +1 that you roll to see if the enemy's hit dice, you basically negate them. And if something still comes through, then that's where resilience comes in, which is your toughness rating +1. And I think that is the part of, okay, you either take the wound or you absorb it into shock, if I have it right. Let's see. You have your resilience, which is the toughness rating +1, plus any armor bonus you got over here. And and you subtract any damage you take from your resilience. The enemy needs to deal more damage than your resilience when they attack in order to deal wounds to you. So how much resilience do you guys have?
I've been playing around with the character sheet, so I've got a character rolled up. Resilience, you said?
Yeah.
8.
Because I'm trying to figure out, does that mean like most guns don't even hurt you?
No, most guns do something like 6 + 2 dice, or 1 or 2 dice. So even like a lowly gun can still do some damage. I think so, at least. As we've been talking, I've been trying to flick through the pages, and it's like, yeah, clearly you've got a revised version of the game. So
Yes, I do believe so. Wrath and Glory, I think before Cubicle 7 picked them up, they were kind of ownerless or something like that.
something like that.
So it wasn't really being sold for a few years between its inception and now.
But I've got the character sheet available, so we could run through like a sort of scenario of someone gets shot.
I think that would help quite a bit, honestly.
I'm sorry? What would help?
I think that would help have a very basic simulation of what happens when you're shot.
Yes, okay. So I got like this pre-made thingy here. It's gonna have some monsters in it that I can pull up real quick. Shouldn't be too hard to find.
Yeah, I'm just having a look over the kit on the sheet. Sniper 4. Alright. See what that does. Sniper weapons increase from the bonus from aiming to +2 die and ignore the penalty when firing to a melee when aimed. After using the aim actions, the sniper weapon adds a number of extra damage equal to the dice rating. Okay. So aiming with the sniper rifle gives +2 dice on top of everything else that's rolled. Ballistic skill agility, so that'd be 7 dice. Okay.
I'm looking for all of my materials here to get something to work with.
I did pick the Talented Dead Show, so that double it to... It's 4 dice. Okay.
All right, so
Dice roll that.
I'm not sure if you guys started writing up your character sheets. So what kind of weapons do you have on you? Like let's take an example when you try to shoot somebody. What's gonna happen?
So
I have a
I
hot
will.
las gun.
Hotshot last gun.
Yep.
We can go with that.
No, that'll never hurt anything. Take your flashlight and go home and fear your guard. We got a kid with a sniper rifle. Let's use him.
That's on the war gear.
Ah, that's what it does.
Trinkets and charms. Okay, where are the guns? Come on, give me the guns.
I've got
Or-
the stats for my guns because I use the online creator. So it's got everything.
Fancy. Okay, let's shoot it.
Okay, shuriken pistol I'll go with. So that'd be 7 dice, 76. Let me get that rolled. I don't really have a wrath dice to her. Would you be able to roll for me?
I can bring it up with that Sophie's
just
dice that I had
roll.
earlier.
6 + 1 wrath dice.
Okay.
6 + 1. Okay, so just a reminder for everyone that the wrath die replaces one of your normal dice, so it's not like in addition to all your other dice.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So 4, 5,
Yeah, I don't have any
6,
dice on me, so
2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Is that okay? That's 7. Okay, let me re-roll them all. Okay, so we have a result of 4 icons. Nothing fancy happens.
All right. So I got a Gene Stealer cultist here, stat block for him, which has a defense of 3. If you rolled a 3 or higher, you hit. If you rolled below, it basically misses or like plinks off the armor, right? Nothing happens.
okay.
Mhm.
In
That
this
would be a
case,
success.
it goes through.
Um,
And I'm not sure if it's gonna, if you reduce it like only with 1 success,
so
or
from what
if
I've-
you have all successes, like if it's just.
So from what I'm seeing of him, he rolled he rolled 2 normal successes and an exalted success.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that pistol has an ability where if you score an exalted icon, the AP improves by the rending value. So it's rending 3. So it's an AP 3 attack.
Okay.
And the damage is 10 + 1 ED. I can roll that because it's just a regular die.
It is a regular die, but it is an icon die. So your possible
Yeah.
rolls are 1 and 2 or 0.
Yeah. 1. So it's 11 damage, penetration 3.
$11 damage, penetration 3, so that goes against my resilience, which it says like I got a resilience of 6, in quotation marks, armor is a 2. So I can ignore the armor and I just use the resilience by itself. So if you're wearing any armor, the armor gets added to the base resilience when you get hit with an attack, which now it's 11 damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You subtract your resilience from any damage you take. Your enemies need to deal more damage than your resilience when they attack in order to deal wounds to you. So my resilience is 6, but you do 11. That's good enough. Which means I get 5 wounds. Now, a measure of how many injuries you suffer or potentially die. Your wounds trait is equal to double your tier. Yeah, any remaining damage is inflicted to wounds. We got that. And when it exceeds the maximum wounds, you're dying. And that's a part of like determination kicks in to move the wound into shock.
Okay.
Let's see. Does my Gene Stealer have determination as a thing on the character sheet? I don't think he does, honestly. He has
No.
conviction, resolve, speed, but I don't see determination listed.
I think that's a PC thing only.
Oh,
I think.
So how would determination work if we got hit by, say, the
your ability to continue acting despite the damage to your body. So you ignore the physical harm. This is you being the superhero, the guardsman that, Kidia fell before the guardsman did. That's determination. and your value is equal to your toughness rating. Whenever you take one or more wounds, you can choose to roll determination to negate the wounds at the cost of shock. So the
Okay.
toughness here, I have 2 toughness. So I roll 2 dice. Right now, I don't have any dice in front of me. But you would roll 2 dice, and if you gain any successes, right, 1 or 2 successes or nothing, then you move that wound into shock instead.
Okay, so we're not as well. I'm looking at this character and I'm not as squishy as I would believe, but I'm still fairly squishy.
And this Gene Stealer cultist also looks like a very, very weak enemy. If like most dice are 2s and 3s, and initiative is a 4.
If I remember correctly, then it's like parry actions, right? Like hand to hand.
Initiative is a stat. The only skill it impacts is melee for some reason. Should just call it the melee skill.
No, wait, no, it's not.
And it impacts your defense. Of your initiative -1 is your defense stat.
The parry is +1 defense and melee. So because my difficult assessment has that as an ability.
So in this case, he took 5 wounds. And since it's an NPC, I don't determine against anything. Maybe I can look if the game thinks that I should use determination for main characters, right, in the universe.
I think that's probably the case. Like powerful
Yeah.
characters would probably have it. I'm gonna have a look through some of the.
Yeah, like if you shot at Veronius, yes, I'm using determination. I'm not gonna let you get away with murder that easy. If you take a shot at the king, you best not miss. This is definitely the nerdy part of. I've been in so many games where we all meet up. Oh, let's play, and then the first shot happens, and the game stops for 20 minutes because nobody read the rule books.
Yeah, it's going to be awkward our first couple times, the way it always is. But we'll get that system mastery under our belts, I'm sure.
It reminds me very much of Shadowrun, which is even more complicated because instead of being a yes/no, you dodge or you don't dodge as the enemy. In this case, it's pretty easy. I roll, and you guys can decide. Okay, he has 4 successes. How high is my defense? I have a 5. You just describe yourself dodging the bullets, or like the armor taking the brunt and deflecting off into the sky.
Hmm.
And same if you shoot at my guy, then I can react to the shot, whether or not this creature can tank it. But it's a multi-step process. Does he penetrate the defense? And then does he tank enough shots to keep on fighting or not?
Okay, so just so I know if I understand this or not, when you attack someone, you roll your dice pool, right, which is your attribute plus your skill, and you roll against the enemy's defense, capital D defense, which is a stat.
Yeah, that's the TN.
Okay, and
So you have to get that many successes.
And then if I hit, I roll my damage, right? And I can convert the extra successes into damage.
Yeah,
dice.
the extra dice,
Yeah.
when you roll them, it's uses the same one success
Yeah, and then
system.
the result goes against the target's resilience, and what goes past the resilience is what actually deals damage. And then for players and some characters, you can then roll your determination.
Yeah.
And for each success in determination, you convert one of those that went past the resilience into from wounds to shock.
Exactly.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
That is correct.
I think in the earlier version it was called soak.
let's go into.
It should be called soak because then people like me know what it means.
Yeah, man, that's certainly it's I don't know, like some people that call it stamina. Here it's shock. In other systems, it's soak.
Well, I meant determination being soak, I think. Again, earlier book. So
Gotcha. The one thing that I see is like an auto pistol. You do 7 damage, and you have an extra die, so you can do 7 damage, 8 damage, or 9 damage, right? Depending on your roll.
yeah.
But the auto pistol isn't gonna outgun the guy with the multi-melter blaster 3000.
No.
I shared a rules reference document there I found in the Discord. Just a decent summary of what the various things do and how you put together dice pools and how you run combat.
Beautiful.
Oh, awesome.
I'm also
Yeah,
been
right.
looking at a couple of YouTube videos that the whole thing is, oh, let me break down this whole rule set for you guys so I get all the views, you know. So that's a thing you can watch if you need a second opinion or get tired of reading rules like I do. I get cross-eyed when I read rule books for too long.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad of a system. I don't know why soak couldn't be static though. It adds like another dice roll to it. Because you're rolling 3 things, right? Like, you're rolling to hit, then you're rolling
Yes.
the damage, and you're rolling the soak as well.
But if you're hit,
Yeah, if
the,
you're hit.
the damage,
Well,
the damage
you know what I
roll is very simple. Luckily, it's like how many dice rolls do you get for your gun? I assume it's like 2 dice rolls or 3 dice rolls, maybe. At worst, I mean, like 3 dice to 1 or 2 or 3 dice. You don't roll massive amounts of damage.
No.
my power blade's got 4 extra dice. That's supposed to be the most.
It does feel very weird that most of my resilience doesn't come from my armor for some reason. My armor
Well,
gives
okay.
me 4 resilience, but me just being a guy gives me more, right? I'm more bulletproof than my armor.
Well,
Ba-
okay,
base
so
4, and then you get plus from your armor.
okay, so the way I read it, because I was confused about the same thing. So it looks like your total resilience is 1. Everyone gets 1 for free, plus your toughness, which for the average human is like 2, and then plus your armor. So it's, for a lot of people, their armor is going to be the biggest part of that. But if you're a super tough son of a bitch, or an Ogren or something, then your inherent toughness is going to be more. But that's sort of what I read
Oh, but
in terms of.
to be at the best as my minimum toughness is 3. That's already on par with my
okay.
armor.
I guess this is part of
yeah.
like tier 2, being tier 2 instead of tier 1. But I assume the Imperial Guardsman is much less tough, but the armor is standard equipment kind of thing.
Carapace armor's pretty good. And
Yeah.
you probably have a bit more conditioning.
I'm gonna do the Goblin Ambush for sure. Season 1. It's a Goblin Ambush. It's not literal goblins. It's just gaffs or something. I need to know how
It
hard I
could
can
be
kill
literal
you.
goblins, you know.
Oh my god!
Like
If
the
it's literal,
Gretchen.
that would be
Yeah,
so
Gretchen.
funny.
Yes.
20 goblins attack you. You need to kill 2 before they all run away. But you don't know that. All you know is I roll for 20 people trying to kill
They
you.
ambush your wagon. 1d6 plus 8 goblins.
So we all get TPK'd in the first combat. It's like, those characters are dead. Oh well.
Oh my god.
Let's try tier 3 next time.
That's right.
I hope
And
you
the
had
tier
fun,
3
guys.
show up.
I just get side eyes from all the players. Yeah,
game.
sure. It was great. Good
See,
job, buddy.
This is why, like, when you play like 5e and then you try Pathfinder, you're not that scared because you can kind of see how it clicks in your head, right? But for this, it's like you can understand each individual rule, but until it clicks in your head, like you still feel weird about it.
I very much feel okay. Lots of this is Shadowrun, Shadowrun coded, But they went like, what if we don't have to roll 25 dice every time, and we just roll like 12 instead? Half the number of dice.
That's Harris.
Preposterous.
Yeah.
You need more
It's
dice.
impossible. So I'm very used to just grab 20 dice and roll them on the table, do the count in my head, and be like, and then I do the counter count of what you're rolling. So okay, I got 8 successes. You roll got 6 successes to go through, which means bish bash bosh, plus 8 damage. Now you do your resilience thing. I've done that so many times. But very much, if you haven't played in like, let's say you haven't played in 2 months, then you stop again, be like, wait, did I forget my armor? Or, oh, I have like this character trait that gives me a bonus die, and that kind of stuff that makes it slow down again.
This document that Matt linked is really good. To like, I'll probably read this like before each session just so I remember all these things.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful.
definitely.
The
That's
one
me.
rule I expect I'll forget all the time is so if you get wounded to any extent, everything you do is like +1 harder. All your target numbers go up by 1.
Why never move 1 dice? Oh my god.
Do
That's
you
much
have a question?
harder.
That actually makes it so much harder if it's a +1 target number
It's that doom
compared to losing
spiral.
a die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a question, by the way.
Is it 1 harder for each wound that you take?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. If you're wounded at all, everything's 1 harder. It doesn't matter how much until
That's
you're all
weird.
healed up again.
Okay, so
It's
it
a little
does
bit weird.
simulate like, okay, you got a hole in your arm, you know, whatever you try to do, it's a pain in the ass now.
Yeah, but then if I get more holes in my arm, it doesn't get any harder.
We can look at the dismemberment rules in the rulebook.
Yeah, for later, yeah.
You want it to be harder? No problem.
What the questions, Dragon? I did hear you.
Yeah. I just wanted to know because weapons, well, ranged weapons have ranges. How would we and ranges affect like the weapon? So, say if you're in short range, you get, what was it, +1 to the to +1 dice to the test.
So I feel like I mean I see the guns, they have numbers
Mm-hmm.
for the ranges, right?
Yep.
Short, medium, and long range. Okay. I don't know yet. Gotta see where that is listed.
Well, I mean, like, I have a pistol, so like, if I'm at like, I don't know, 50 meters away, I probably can't hit a guy. But you know, I could easily more do it with a rifle. That won't be.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, there are actual mechanical issues with that. Page, what was it? 184 for short and long range.
I'm
Range
looking.
numbers looks like are soon to be in meters, based on what's said here as well.
Yeah.
I can't find it, but it must be on a different page in my revised rule book.
184, it's on the systems ref. Of rules ref. Not there.
That's annoying. So if they're short range, you get +1 bonus. That's easy enough. But if they're beyond medium range, they gain +2 defense.
Yeah.
Which is fiddly. I'll just take one away. Take one dice
There's
away from the roll.
also seizing the initiative, which is an interesting system. So
Yeah,
probably do that.
seizing initiative being you have a reason to spend glory, so you act first. Which is the thing of, hey, if you're in a gunfight, you want to be the first one shooting, right?
obviously.
We can end up in those situations where I take my shot and you take 4 wounds and you cannot resist. You cannot put it all into shock. And now you're already in your death spiral.
It's so weird that they have like so many mechanics that change the static part of the roll, like increasing like the defense, like you said, Matt. Because I mean, the whole thing of a dice pool system is that like this is the variable. How many of these things you're holding, right? So why would you make it so that it changes the number that is like static? I don't understand. That's so
the
weird.
difficulty explodes from what I see. So the more dice you have, the lower the curve of success of like, oh, now you can get reliably 3 successes, 4 successes, 5 successes. Sometimes you swing, but much less with each extra die.
I'm sure that there are mathematical differences to it, but is it worth it comparing it to the amount of mind space that you need to have to work all of those systems each time?
Yeah, it's definitely feels like, oh, this makes the simulationists happy of like probabilities. It's like,
yeah, but we're trying to role play. We're not playing a war game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I assume some people play this like a war game.
Maybe. Well, that's me trying to justify the designers, right? Like, okay, it's a Warhammer game. Who's gonna play? War gamers that pretend to role play. Okay, let's make all the rules to support that.
Initiative's actually maybe something worth briefly discussing because it's an alternating system typically where you're going back and forth between GM and player, but it's kind of up to the players who goes first, I think. Unless you use the CC list of stuff that immediately go straight after and all sort of stuff. But
I mean,
right, like if we use glory to go first, usually a normal table would negotiate, oh, can I spend glory to go first? In here, whoever talks first spends the glory. It's like a gloriously step up to the plate. Or I don't know, like
I think it's only so like by default. I think is it players go first normally, but if they're surprised, then the GM goes first. So it'll be a case of either you, the GM, using your room points to steal the initiative from us.
That is either like I will always telegraph bad guys doing something bad. That, oh fuck, we are in trouble now, and you get to act first. Unless I am literally doing an ambush, in which case I will do the equivalent of a stealth roll, right? And you guys have a passive perception that is always whatever your perception die, I think it's halved, which is your passive perception. So if you're not looking to get ambushed, somebody needs to, keep their eyes open to get skill check roll going when an ambush does occur.
Yeah, awareness.
Sounds like a ranger job to me.
Everyone looks at the Eldari, and the Eldari looks at peanut butter sandwich. As the ambush happens.
I mean, it's all right, but like, I don't know, 5. That's not the best. So I can get snuck up on. I think where like I'm really going to shine is stealth, insight, and shooting people. And by insight, I mean, well, that's a vague skill. That'd be.
I'm looking at the initiative thing a bit more to see. I mean, yeah, initiative order seems simple enough that once combat starts, we can quite literally go down by who has the highest initiative order. That's a thing we can establish at the start of the game. Yeah.
Or just to make sense of the situation as well. If something's happening, someone's reacted immediately. Maybe that's just.
I can also call out, like I look at my list of, okay, who has how much initiative, and I say Conway, and then Conway acts in character, of course. I say his name, Conway the Creek, and then he can act to be like, okay, I'm first in line. Or US players cut in, gloriously step in his way and take the first blast. I don't know. Like, do we want to? Are we? That's a point of topic. Are we gonna say I spend glory, or do we want to kind of hide it a bit with coded language?
It probably might be worth it to be unambiguous. Say like you could either say glory or spend a glory.
I think so. Yeah. I think if we were all playing like Imperials, it would be easy to say for the Emperor's glory or something like that every time. But I think because we're a mix, it's not as clear cut.
I want to try to codify it.
No,
but actually, I'm not going to use. I forgot. I'm not going to use Wrath and Glory. I don't need to worry about it. There we go. I wash my hands of the whole affair.
Conway's like, I don't care if I win. I want to roleplay. Based.
I think the adverb gloriously might just do all the heavy lifting for us, because how often are you going to say that normally, right? While you're rolling
glory
dice.
for the Emperor. Yes, glory for the Emperor. And I just take off a glory dice and everyone looks at it. Wait, that's not what we meant. No, we take it back.
Not that glorious. I think I think in practice it won't end up being a big problem, but yeah, let's play up a year, and I think for the glory of the Emperor, we will persevere and survive and detect the ambush. What your elven ears hear.
as I said, it may not be that good. It's only a five dice pool.
The Eldari says to the rogue trader, I only got 5 dice.
Oh, 5 dice, bro.
Many such faces. Oh, that is what the Eldari would say, though, right?
Look, Monkey, I've got, like, I don't have as many dice as you think I do. But what?
He wouldn't understand. He's a lower life form of the second dimension.
I have a set of cards, and cards, they do not go this way. What?
All right. So, I mean, yeah, initiative sounds simple enough. For seizing initiative, we got the glory system, which is if you guys actually need to, okay, it's time for my character to do something, or else, he's fucked. Because, I don't know, the orc guy with his flamethrower is going to cook you as soon as he gets his turn.
So you can gloriously step in.
Yeah. Right, we got some time to kill, and it's definitely like I'm out of quick answers. I just have to look at the rulebook again and see how does this work, what are the traits of your guns, and also like getting your character sheet sometimes midweek, so I can work with what your characters have and understand your gear. So like if something bad happens, that I can help you out real quick before the session starts. Like
the only thing that comes to mind to talk about is like flesh out the characters a little bit more. Because I mean, I took Tempestus Scion as a base, right? I wanna elaborate on a character from there. Tempestus Scions, you can either be like trained from childhood as part of the as an orphan, right? You can be trained into a Tempestus Scion. But I want to go the second route for my character, which is he's a veteran of the guard that got later inducted into the Tempestus Scions. Like he's not special in any way, just a farm boy, joined the Imperial Guard when young to be able to eat more because his parents, they weren't very rich. And he grew up into a guardsman, fought he knows one planet very well that he fought in for the longest time, and now he's a Tempestus. I'm even gonna take I'm gonna take a talent so that I can start with a cybernetic arm. So like I lost this arm in a war, like now I have this bling.
The talents are cool.
Very like Salt of the Earth kind of guy,
Are the Astra Militarum, do they have barracks on every planet? Do they have like the trainee planet? Like, send off all the boys to Cadia? Like, what are we?
The Imperial Guard, usually they are extraplanetary, right? So they're not really tied to a planet. They're tied to a regiment. And the regiment is usually mobile. Like, I could just pick this up, like massive ship picks up the regiment and drops it somewhere else. Maybe I'm not from the system.
So the regiment is the culture that defines your guardsmen.
Yes.
I love the idea that you can tell me the whole culture of this army, which would also be if there's like Imperial Guards here, they won't be the normal Cadians. They will all be guardsmen from your kind of regiments too.
Oh, I like that.
Because those are the guys that are stuck in the system when the storm happened, right?
I really like that. Probably have a look at Only War later, because Only War gives you very cool ideas for.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm more than happy if it's some weird guardsman where people look at the wiki and like, no, they're on the other side of the universe. You can't have them. Like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. But to be fair, you know, they do cross the whole universe to deliver reinforcements every now and then.
I'm sorry?
Sometimes they do cross like the half the galaxy to deliver reinforcements, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. I want to hear like your version, which is something you can think about. Like, don't worry about having it right now, but that's gonna be cool role play opportunities.
And I like the idea as well that my character, since he's a veteran, like he's tier 2 now, he's like slowly growing more and more into like a leadership type of character. You know, he's not just a grunt anymore. He's done his time in the trenches. Now he's more like a squad leader type character.
I like the idea that you are supposed to become a captain, but there's just no opportunity for you to rise in the ranks.
Yeah, the ones dying in the trenches are all the lower ranks. You know, all the higher ranks are safe and cushy in the bunker. 3 miles back.
Yeah, they're not dying. None of them are dying for you to get out of the way.
I like this. I'm going to be more like a veteran Sarge type of character, you know.
I was there when Cadia fell under the last ship escape.
Oh no, this is 42nd Millennium. Oh no.
What does that mean? I know there's some timeline things, but I don't know.
I just took some corruption points in real life, realizing that this is the 42nd Millennium.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, this is what the warp storms are. Don't tell me it's the Cicatrice Maledictum or whatever the hell they called it.
It might be.
Oh no.
It's that
related,
kind of stuff. You can look at the, I don't know, probably like the first 30 pages in the rulebook about kind of background. If you look in the rulebook itself, it's what, like page 10 that gives like a big blurbs about the background from the perspective of the sisterhood for like the new initiates. Okay, like you're in the order now. These are the problems you need to be aware of to be an effective sister of battle. And then the double page after that is like from the perspective of a rogue trader talking about the political troubles trying to make money here, which would be interesting for Roger to read. Like page 15 and 14 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be the kind of information Roger has access to in character.
Right. So for the purposes of putting our characters together, because there's some impact on the character sheets, are we starting with a literal patron of Rogue Trader Veronius? Because he provides like some war gear and a little bonus and jazz like that. Do you think we're going to do that, or I mean, if we have to do what he tells us to do anyways, we might as well, get paid for it. Is kind of the way I'm thinking. So what I'm looking at in the book, if you're wondering what I'm talking about,
patrons.
is yeah. So page 311 is talks a little bit about what he's about. So, I mean, for a 3-session campaign, it's not like I don't think we really need, a boss telling us, oh, here's your next mission and your next quest. we probably will just do whatever you tell us to do for 3 sessions. But like I say, give it some thought if you want, Zonalar. It's not a game-breaking bonus to have or to not have one way or the other, but if we're playing it by the book to give the system a test run, then might be worth trying.
Right, a patron. I've known the system from like D&D when they released Eberron for 5th edition.
Yeah.
They had also patrons in there. So, okay, you got like the party mommy who wants you to do stuff, and she can give you nice goodies if you behave something. I don't know. Like for me, that always felt like helicopter parenting to make sure the players stay on track.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a crutch maybe, where it just makes it very easy for people that kind of just want to show up and play every week for a few months. It's like, well, what are we going to do next? Oh, our Mr. Johnson in the cyber cafe handed us this mission, and now we're hired to deliver this doodad to this planet. So that's what we do.
Literally every single Shadowrun game I've ever played in, and nothing ever changes. It's the one thing that I want all the Shadowrun game masters out there to strangle them with. Like, just like bend them over the table and be like, stop it with Mr. Johnson. I don't fucking give a shit about him.
I mean, the real like answer to that system is you just have that as a sort of like an introduction into the world, as in like you take like a few missions from like a few different like NPCs, and then by that time you should have your own sort of objectives as characters and a group more solidified, because you probably got beef with people who have messed with you or something like that. Like, it's a good way to introduce a campaign, but not to be every session is, oh, what does Mr. Johnson say?
So looking at the actual features of the Rogue Trader Veronius, they have like those frameworks to be like, okay, what kind of group are you? The deniables feels very fitting for this group of like there are no limitations as long as you can convince the pragmatic Veronius dynasty you could be useful. But it's just like, yeah, that's part of Roger's character. And the war gear of a frag grenade weapon implant, which is totally cool. But does that mean that you can explode all the other player characters if you feel like it? Is that what it means?
Yeah, it's sort of that thing from that Blade movie where there's that bomb on the back of that one vampire's head.
So I don't see this coming into play, except for it's cool, it's cool. But does the Eldari really agree to that, or the other player characters just to work with your character? And the like +1 check on deceptions, like it's whatever.
Yeah,
and it's cool for it fits the theme we have going right now. I'll leave it up to you guys.
For some characters, I'd probably say that'd probably be worth it, but I don't think an Eldari would even let a surgeon come close to them with a knife.
Yeah.
I don't think my character would accept those terms if he could either.
Yeah, it's sort of a penal colony suicide squad kind of setup, which it could be a cool game, but I don't think that
would be
quite
very cool
fits
game,
with what we've got. Yeah, based on what we have right now, I think maybe we'll. Well, I mean, we can chat it over in Discord. We don't have to decide everything, tonight necessarily on that sort of front.
Yeah, the other one, like Veronius Vanguard. I don't know. It just looks like, oh, those would be the elite team kind of situation, maybe.
Yeah, that's us. We're the elites. Come on. Obviously.
I'm sort of getting the vibe that for Wrath and Glory they wanted to make a system that has like, it has only war, it also has Rogue Trader, it also has like a lot of like very strange disparate things that don't really fit that well. Because you have a lot of Rogue Trader lore, but then you also have like Space Marines, and also have like a lot of Imperial Guard, and a lot of Mechanicus, and a lot of Sororitas for some reason, right?
It's
Yeah,
it's small but so open that you can make your own fun, which means you as a game master have to create the fun for the players to enjoy instead of a very defined theme to play with. I remember like the Fantasy Flight games, that's the things I liked about those books. Which is the guard book?
Only
But-
war.
Only war, yeah.
I really enjoyed that one because, okay, everything I need to know about waging war and being a soldier, it's in that book. Awesome. Let's go. All right. What's left? Do we want to end early or like, you know, at this point? So I'm reading, to recap, I'm reading rules about fucking weapons, guns. I think the combat part is, we will find out with by playing in the first session and then discuss how well it went or where you got stuck with the rules. And we got a few YouTube videos out there. I mean, I'm also okay to just like in the middle of the week, do a mock-up, like call me. I bring my a cultist gene stealer that shoots your guy, and we find out how hard it hits you, something like that.
I wouldn't mind doing at some point during the week, dropping in and giving the build a quick test.
Yeah, totally. I think that's cool. So okay, like, would you even survive? What are they called? Like an orc, one boy, or does it wipe out the whole party? I don't have a understanding of the power levels until what's it called? Until we get punched in the face. That's when we find out how well we handle this.
Yeah.
If we die, we die. It'll be fun.
It
From
will
my
be half a
experience-
session, and it will be glorious.
From my experience with new systems and running them, like if things are like too easy, like that's a good thing because you can always add more. Always turn that dial up. Be like, well, this would make sense, and it won't be a cakewalk. Like it actually has the players make choices.
What about a much smaller thing, Medicaid? Is anyone looking into being able to patch up wounds, or will you give yourself over to Lord Emperor's mercy? Hopefully somebody nearby can patch you up.
Well, I think that you can just take that as a skill.
Yeah,
Medicate. You can just take it as a skill. It doesn't matter, like, you are, like, say in, like, Dark Heresy 2, you're a surgeon. Like, you could just take, like, points in it. Well, if I remember correctly, there's probably going to be some modifiers for anyone attempting a Medicaid test on, like, an alien, because you studied human anatomy, not Orc or Eldar anatomy, or even Space Marine anatomy. They got a lot of extra organs.
Yep.
I think my guy's going to be focused on a little bit of leadership. He is definitely going to have pilot.
Oh, nice. Oh, now I want to know what you've piloted with your character. The guy in the tent, the guy in the spaceship, like
the Tempesta Scion starts with grav shoots, which are like these like metallic wings that like make me fall down slowly, falling with style.
Oh, okay.
So I think I'm gonna be like a what would they call it? They would call it aeronautica in 40K.
Yeah.
Piloting stuff that only flies in atmosphere, right? So not like spaceships.
Wait, they have like wings on your back, like half a jetpack, half gliding system?
It's a grav chute, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I call it wings to be cool. They're more like two metal pipes that make me fall down slowly.
No, I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
But I like the idea of my regiment being like specialized in like airdrops, kind of like the Elysian drop troopers.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the scout recon of the group. Also like a sniper. So I guess that's my role. And being a weirdo.
I'm
Absolutely.
also a weirdo. I'm
You
also
got that skill cornered.
I've got the fanatic death cultist weirdo thing going on as well. Like my role is definitely melee specialist. Like most of my abilities are built around melee and stealth, sneaking in, getting up close.
I think maybe we could have a in character. We could have a bit of beyond the obvious. Oh, we hate each other because xenophobia. Have a bit of a rivalry regarding like infiltration.
Yeah,
that could be cool.
definitely.
Xenophobia. In my regiment, you'd be executed for it. You were not afraid of him. We kill him.
I love it. Fantastic. All right. So far, so good for me. We can end it here and figure the rest out in the middle of the week. I'll obviously will literally read the rule book. That's the only thing I'm gonna trying to shove all this information into my brain so we can role play without stopping and asking, is it ref die? What's gonna happen if I have like 2 successes on my ref die? Gonna have that all cleared up by the time we start gaming. I don't think there's anything like super egregious left. Maybe like a space battle at all mentioned here. I'm not worrying with it. For me, it's like, yeah, if you have the frigate under control, you fly it where you need to go. We stay in system, so there won't be any, oh, let's jump into the warp through like the warp storm. Or I don't even know if your frigate would have, what's it called, navigator?
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's a frigate, it would, yeah.
it should, but who knows? Maybe my Geller field burnt out on the way in or something. Lots of things.
Or
Like
But
that.
the
cut
navigator will
off.
totally not let you jump if you're in the middle of a warp storm. That's asking to be killed.
It is definitely a thing of the boys, the Veronius boys that came in was unexpected. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody even sent a distress signal. It's like, well, they arrived. We don't remember ever asking for backup because warp storm, and then Veronius came through as, under
It's a
weird
psychic.
circumstances.
It's a psychic rogue trader. I sense a disturbance in the warp. An opportunity for profit.
Yeah.
That way.
Green dollar signs. This way. So it's absolute. Even if you had, So okay. So if you wanted to, you could totally warp travel. A wink, nudge. Don't do it.
Once, yeah.
I can see your character already. Like, we should go there. There's profit outside these lands. Like, no, you'll kill us all.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
All right. Yeah. No. Pretty much. Yeah. Let's stop here.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm just gonna end the stream. If you're watching, you won't see anything else for probably 2 weeks. Like 1 week to have the show, and then another week to do any setups. It might take a couple more weeks than that to see, because I'm making character art. I'm making whatever art you will see on screen. I did the thumbnail. That took me an hour. That was pretty crude. A pretty crude thumbnail as well. So it's gonna be a while until you see us again actually role-playing the game, which it's gonna make it hard to compare it with Conway's game, right? And Dragonfarm's your GM over there.
Yeah.
You will be able to see that one on YouTube. Is that right, or is it private?
I think so. I'm not the one that's streaming it. I'm just
I
running
think
it.
it would be Nicholas. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, it is. I think
Fantastic.
it's streamed, so people will be able to see it, and then we can compare.
I really appreciate the games and all. I appreciate like all the work that you're willing to put into this.
Yeah. And interesting to see how it turns out, definitely.
Yeah, I'm really
All right.
looking forward to this.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, Odyssey. Did you guys figure out the download button and how to record your own voice for the first session, or do you need any help with that?
Is it really just download it, run it, and record?
It should be like you don't need any
Okay.
big setups. Like I can hear on your end there's a fan going right when you talk. So if you're
I
just
recently changed my computer, right? So I've
Yeah.
not had the time to set up the mic properly yet. It's still the same mic. It just doesn't have any filters as I usually do in OBS.
yeah, so if
my
you're
audio's probably
normally
been awful so far.
if you're normally recording, it won't have any OBS filters on it. So it would be like post-processing on my end to dial it in to remove all of that.
That works for me.
Yeah.
There is a web-based one called Wavacity, which is just Audacity for the web, which I might use. So I'm on a work laptop at the minute, so I can't download that, but I can.
What I can do, Zonar, and what might be better for you, is instead of recording the mic audio, I can record the internal audio that goes through OBS, so that I already have all the filters that I usually do. And my voice.
Oh yeah, if you have a virtual audio cable, so to say, you can click on that to record that to make it easier on my end.
I'll definitely do that then. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Okay. With that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the future.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.